got some folks from the Chamber of Commerce in Trinidad and Tobago. They're here in Guyana scoping out opportunities. As you know, we spoke a lot about the development that's happening here in Guyana, and of course throughout the region as well. We've been seeing so much happening, and within CARICOM it's really provides a perfect platform for networking. And I've got with me Miss Lisa Ann Joseph. She's the Managing Director for Reputation Management, and Mr. Marc Sandy, he's a manager for Trade and Business Development Unit there at the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing? Welcome to Guyana.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. So let's jump right into this. Opportunities, so many of them are available here in Guyana. I'm wondering what specific areas of focus the Chamber of Commerce has, particularly as it relates to these engagements here.
Well, good morning to everyone. We have a delegation of roughly 19 persons representing 16 companies across the landscape of industry in Trinidad and Tobago. And that includes information and communications technology, specifically software development. Of course, we have Lisa and Joseph representing reputation management, and they provide risk management services as well as a number of other services that she will specifically identify. We have companies that provide equipment for the food and beverage industry as well as construction services. We also have companies representing the education and training sector. So we have quite a few companies representing a diverse group of industries in Trinidad and Tobago at the Trade Mission this year.
You mentioned all of those areas of focus, but what makes those areas of focus the best fit for Guyana and vice versa?
Well, what we would have done is engaged a process of matchmaking. So all of the companies that express interest in participating in the endeavor, we would have specifically matched them with companies that are interested in acquiring or working with them and acquiring their services. So I think that matchmaking process is what allowed us to basically streamline and identify what would be the best fit for those companies that are interested in doing business in Guyana, and it has been going quite well so far.
Okay. You know, we've before we got on air, we were talking about, you know, some of the challenges that exist, particularly as it relates to, you know, the movement of maybe goods and services. I mean, in terms of logistically, one of the issues that always been on the forefront for CARICOM is how do you really get rid of those barriers, so to speak, when it comes to doing business or moving goods and services from one place to the next that exists. How do you intend to deal with some of those logistical challenges that currently exist?
Well, as a Chamber of Commerce, one of the strongest things that we tend to put emphasis on is advocacy. So we work very closely with the Ministry of Trade and Industry in Trinidad and Tobago. And on a regional level, we sit on various committees, such as the Council of Trade and Economic Development. We are affiliated with the Caribbean Private Sector Organization, the Caribbean Chamber of Commerce as well. And via our representation on these committees, we would advocate for improvements in the ease of doing business, in particular the issues, as you highlighted, with respect to transportation and logistics. And so advocacy is one of the strongest areas or arms or services that we would employ in order to seek to alleviate some of the challenges that exist, not only with respect to transportation and logistics, but with just generally matters of trade facilitation and the ease of doing business in Trinidad and Tobago and in the Caribbean.
Yeah, and sounds fascinating.
That's the approach that we take.
It sounds fascinating. You were also looking to grab hold of some of those opportunities. Your areas of focus is crisis management. How do you see that being a good fit, you know, for the Guyanese market?
Well, because businesses require that type of skill. They have to be prepared for any type of crisis that can happen, and especially in the oil and gas sector, where crises are inevitable. And because it's inevitable, we would really want organizations to be prepared instead of being ambushed or dealing with crises ad hoc. And because there are repercussions to that, and there are damage control issues associated with that. So you want people to be more in a preparatory mode than in a reactive mode, so that the crisis situation the situations can be handled better.
Yeah, and you mentioned the mere fact that obviously crisis will always exist in any company or organization, and that's nothing new. So you may have other companies in Ghana that may be offering similar services to what you're offering. So what is it that you think that you would be bringing that is not already being offered out there in the market currently?
Collaboration and added value to the services offered. You know, the whole idea is that the more minds that are involved in it, the better the product can be. So there's room for everyone. And because of that and our interaction with those businesses that exist here, you know, it will only redound to the betterment of those organizations. So the more, the better, the value added that we could provide to them.
Yeah. Collaboration is one of those things that is always talked about. You know, you can't stop competition in business because you may have businesses in Trinidad and Guyana that offer similar services or may have similar brands or similar products. How do you bridge that gap between, you know, the competition and encourage greater collaboration between companies here in Guyana and in Trinidad?
Reciprocity. So it's one of the things that we've emphasized the most as part of this undertaking, that not only are we interested in Trinidad and Tobago's businesses finding and identifying opportunities for expansion in the Guyanese market, but also as part of the discussions that we've had so far, there has been a lot of focus on reciprocal trade flows. So there, of course, would be Guyanese business interests who are interested in doing business in Trinidad and Tobago. And a huge part of the discussion so far has centered around how we can ensure that the trade flows both ways, and so that we can, in fact, collaborate. Competition, of course, is necessary, as you said, but collaboration is far greater, I would say. You know, and it has been pretty good so far.
Awesome. And I'm assuming in terms of collaboration as well, you're looking for opportunities to be able to collaborate with even companies here, even though as much as you're scoping out your opportunities yourself.
Yes, of course. Of course. That's why we're here. And, you know, so far it has been going very well. And, we'll be here for another day or so. And we'll be back. You know,
we hope.
Yes, because there are opportunities, but our opportunities is how we see the opportunities adding value to what the environment lends.
Guyana. People may be watching us and thinking, well, with all the opportunities you mentioned are available there, but why Guyana? Why now?
The doors are wide open. And I think we have been given such a very strong reception even prior to coming into the country and starting the trade mission. The reception that we've gotten through our High Commission of Trinidad and Tobago based in Guyana, and the sense that the time is ripe for collaboration has really caused us to make a very affirmative decision that the time is now. And so I think it has been borne out by the way in which the B2B meetings have ensued thus far over the course of yesterday and continuing today. And I do think that the future is bright as it pertains to businesses and industry in both jurisdictions.
Before we wrap this up here, Guyana and Trinidad have always had a really good relationship, both bilaterally and, of course, in talking about trade and all that stuff. How much does that have bearing on these engagements that you're having in terms of the relationship that already exists between the two countries, good relations that we've had as neighbors, and, of course, in terms of doing business? How much does that have bearing on what we're doing here now in terms of scoping out other opportunities?
It is critical. The overarching infrastructure with respect to the regulatory framework and the trade environment that has been created and fostered from a bilateral perspective is very, very important in terms of creating the right parameters around which industry can develop between our respective jurisdictions. So we really can't do without it. It is necessary, and we hope that those good trade relations will continue in the foreseeable future.
Ms. Joseph, I'll give you a chance to speak to our viewers before we go. Reputation management, you're looking to get into the market. What would you like people to know about your company and what you have to offer to the market?
Well, just what the name of the company is Reputation Management, and everything that you do for a company, it impacts your reputation, it impacts your image. But specifically, we're looking to really hone in and help companies with the crisis communications discipline, because we feel strongly that companies will be in a better position when they proactively look at their crisis communication, and we can help in that way. Help train, help coach, help bring your teams up to a position where they will be more equipped and ready to deal with a crisis, because, you know, if you don't deal with it proactively, it's going to be a much deeper, darker hole for damage control if you don't look at it proactively.
Perfectly said. Well said. Thank you so much, Mr. Sandy, Mark, Sandy, and Miss Lisa and Joseph, the folks from the Chamber of Commerce in Trinidad and Tobago here, scoping out opportunities. You guys are going to be here until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you've had any local food yet? Anybody gave you some Guyanese food?
Well, admittedly, the Guyanese food is quite similar to what we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
So it's been quite nice because of
Quite
course
nice.
Trinidadian delicacies are quite nice.
Well, I'm not getting into that whole chicken curry thing.
Oh,
You know,
gosh, no.
But nonetheless, thank you so much for coming to Guyana. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy your stay and, you know, have maybe get some drinks a little bit later on.
For sure.
You know.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the folks from TT Chamber of Commerce, they're talking to us about those opportunities that are being sought here in Guyana.
Beautiful country with loving people in harmony. I'm so amazed to live in such a beautiful country with loving people in harmony.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, just paradise is our world.
Yeah, some are we born on the hills, some on the low coastal plains. Plenty rice and sugar.